The CEO's voice cut through the air like a knife. In the middle of the shiny office lobby, he pointed at a trembling boy in a cheap shirt. Daniel Kane shouted, "Get out of my company, Eli, and tell your mother this isn't a charity. I don't pay for sick, useless cleaners." Everyone froze. Phones stopped in mid-air. The receptionist stared. The guards looked at each other. Eli's hands shook. His eyes filled with tears. "Please, sir, don't talk about my mother like that," he whispered. "She worked here for years. She's very sick. I only asked for help." Daniel laughed loudly. "In front of all my staff, you dare beg," he said. "Your mother is just a poor cleaner. A liar. People like you should know your place." What Daniel didn't see. Above them, on the second floor, a small camera light was blinking red. The whole scene was going out, live. To the company's social media. To the board. To thousands of viewers. And that camera was about to destroy his perfect image. The story begins one cold morning in a tall glass building owned by Kane Industries. Inside, people rushed with coffee and laptops. Managers wore suits. Interns whispered and typed fast. In the middle of all this, a young office boy moved quietly. His name was Eli. He carried files. He served tea. He opened doors. He wore the same faded shirt almost every day. His shoes were old, but always clean. When someone called, "Eli, bring me coffee," he replied with a small smile. "Yes, sir. Right away." No one knew that before coming to work, Eli woke up at 5 a.m. He cooked for his mother. He checked her medicine. He left food by her bedside. Her name was Grace. She used to work as a cleaner in the same building. She cleaned the floors while others walked past her like she was invisible. Now she was sick. Her lungs were weak. Sometimes she coughed so hard she could hardly breathe. "Eli," she whispered one morning, her voice soft, "don't be late to work because of me." He smiled, even though his eyes were wet. "Mama, it's fine," he said. "One day, I'll earn enough money. I'll take you out of this small room. You won't clean anyone's office again. I promise." Grace smiled and touched his face with her thin hand. "You already gave me everything, my son," she said. "You gave me a reason to live." On the top floor, the elevator doors opened. Daniel Kane, the CEO, walked out with his team. Perfect suit. Expensive watch. Cold eyes. Everyone stood straighter when they saw him. "Good morning, Mr. Kane," they said. He didn't answer. He just nodded once. He loved power. He loved respect. And he loved people knowing he was self-made. There were big posters of him on the walls. "From the streets to the sky," one caption said. "Power of hard work," another said. Daniel smiled every time he passed those posters. But there was one thing he never spoke about. His past. That day, Eli stood outside the HR office, clutching a small envelope. Inside were hospital bills. The HR manager, Sophie, looked tired. "Eli, what is it?" she asked gently. He took a deep breath. My mother, she is very sick," he said. "The doctor said she needs tests. I can't pay all of it. Can I please get my salary early? Or maybe a small loan? I will work extra hours, clean after everyone, anything." Sophie looked at the bills. Her eyes softened. "I wish I could decide this, Eli," she said. "But this amount is big. Only Mr. Kane can approve it." Eli's heart sank. "Mr. Kane," he repeated. "He doesn't even know my name." Sophie sighed. "There is a town hall today," she said. "He will be in the lobby, answering employee questions for our live show. Maybe you can ask him there. He likes to show he cares about staff on camera." Eli swallowed hard. Talking to the CEO? In front of everyone? On a live stream? His hands started to shake. "But what if he gets angry?" he whispered. Sophie looked at him kindly. "Sometimes, Eli, you have to speak for the people you love," she said. "Your mother did so much for this place. You have the right to ask." Her words stayed in his mind. "My mother did so much for this place. If you were in his place, risking your job for your mother's life, what would you do?" Downstairs, a young social media manager named Mia was setting up cameras. "We're live in 10 minutes, she told her team. "Boss wants this to look perfect. He wants people to see how kind and inspiring he is." One camera faced the small stage in the lobby. One camera faced the audience. Mia checked the sound. "MIC test," she said. 1, 2, 1, 2. On her screen, the words appeared. "Kane cares, live employee Q&A." She rolled her eyes quietly. If only he really cared, she muttered. She didn't know that today, that same camera would show the world something very different. The clock reached 11 a.m. Employees gathered in the lobby. Some stood on the stairs. Some watched from the balcony. Eli stood at the back, holding his envelope, heart beating fast. On the screen, the red text flashed. "Live." Mia counted down. 3, 2, 1. The show began. And Eli had no idea that his question would change everybody's life. Eli took one shaky step forward, not knowing that the whole internet was already watching him. Applause filled the lobby as Daniel walked to the small stage. He smiled at the camera, not at the people. "Welcome to our live Q&A, he said, voice strong. "At Kane Industries, we are a family." People clapped politely. Mia's phone buzzed with comments as the live chat filled up. "Wow, such an inspiring CEO. Love this company." Daniel raised his hands. "Today, any employee can ask me anything," he said. "I want to hear your voices." Sophie looked around and gave Eli a small nod. "Now, Eli. This is your moment," she whispered. Eli's legs felt heavy, but he remembered his mother's coughing, her tired eyes, the way she smiled through pain. He lifted his hand. Mia saw him and zoomed in. A brave young office boy, she thought. Daniel pointed lazily. "Yes, you," he said. "The T-boy. Come." Some employees snickered quietly. Eli walked forward, feeling everyone's eyes on him. His throat was dry. He took the MIC with shaking hands. "My name is Eli, sir," he said. "I work as office boy on the 9th floor." Daniel nodded without interest. "Yes, yes. What is your question?" he asked. Eli swallowed. "Sir, my mother, Grace, she used to work here as a cleaner," he began. "Maybe you remember her." "She." Daniel cut him off. "Get to the point," he snapped. "We don't have all day." Eli flinched but continued. "She is very sick now, sir," he said. "I brought the bills. I just wanted to ask if the company could please give me a small loan or advance. I will pay it back. I am ready to work extra hours. I just don't want to lose her." His voice broke on the last words. There was silence. Some staff looked down. Some bit their lips. On the live chat, comments started popping. "Poor boy. Hope the CEO helps him. Let's see what happens." Mia held her breath and zoomed closer on Eli's face. His eyes were red. Daniel's face, however, slowly changed. Not into kindness. Into anger. He took a step closer to Eli. "Your mother is Grace?" he asked slowly. "Yes, sir," Eli said, hope rising. "You remember her?" Daniel's jaw tightened. "Oh, I remember," he said coldly. "That woman was always making excuses. Sick one day, tired the next. Always sad, always late. Always poor. I fired her for a reason." Eli's heart dropped. "That's not true, sir," he whispered. "She worked hard. She." "Enough," Daniel's voice roared, echoing in the lobby. People jumped. Mia's camera shook for a second. The live chat exploded. "Why is he shouting?" "Bro, chill," he just asked. Daniel pointed at Eli's chest. "Listen to me carefully," he said. "This company is not a hospital. Your mother is not my problem. You poor people always think you can cry and get money. You are all the same. Lazy. Weak. Always begging." Eli's lips trembled. Tears slid down his face in front of everyone. "Please, sir, don't call my mother lazy," he begged. "She cleaned these floors while you walked past. She never complained. She." Daniel laughed loudly. "Cleaned my floors," he said. Then that is her level. And this, he waved his hand at Eli's envelope, this is begging, not working. The lobby felt colder. Sophie's hands tightened into fists. Mia stared at her screen in shock. On the live chat. Wow, this is ugly. Is this real? I feel bad for the boy. Daniel turned to the crowd. Everyone, look at him, he said. This is what happens when we make the mistake of hiring staff from the slums. They think this is a charity. A few gasped. He wasn't done. And your mother, Daniel added, looking back at Eli with disgust, is a liar. If she's sick, maybe it's because people like her don't take care of themselves. Why should I use my company's money on some cleaner's mother? Eli felt like the floor was disappearing under his feet. For a moment, he couldn't hear anything. His ears rang. His hands shook. He dropped the envelope. Bills scattered on the shiny floor. He bent down to pick them up with shaking fingers as people watched in silence. The camera zoomed in on his trembling hand picking up a paper with big red numbers. Unpaid. 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 Daniel waved to security. Take him away, he said coldly. And if he ever begs again, he's fired. Eli looked up, tears running down his face. Sir, please, my mother will die, he whispered. Daniel leaned close and said in a low voice, full of hate. Then maybe that is one less problem for you. The words hit harder than any slap. Even the guards froze. Mia's eyes filled with tears as she watched through the screen. The live chat went crazy. What did he just say? This is evil. I'm screen recording this. Tag the board. Tag the news. Sophie stepped forward. Mr. Kane, this is too much, she said softly. He just asked for help. Daniel turned on her. Do you want to join him? He snapped. She went quiet, her eyes full of anger and pain. The guards gently took Eli's arms. He did not fight. He was too broken. As they led him away, a small photo slipped out of the envelope and slid near Daniel's shoe. It was an old, faded picture. A younger Grace, smiling. Next to her, a thin teenage boy with messy hair, holding a book. Both standing outside a small tea stall. The boy in the picture looked a lot like Daniel. He saw it. His face went pale for half a second. His foot twitched, like he wanted to kick the photo away. Instead, Mia zoomed in with curiosity from the balcony, but Daniel quickly bent down, grabbed the photo, and crushed it in his fist. No one saw that. No one, except the camera above him. It caught everything. His shock. His fear. The photo in his hand. Mia's eyes narrowed. Why did he react like that? She whispered. Cliffhanger line. That night, one person would follow that tiny clue and uncover the secret Daniel had buried for years. Eli sat outside the small government hospital that night. He held his mother's hand. She lay on the bed, breathing slowly, a small oxygen tube under her nose. What happened at work? She asked, her voice weak. Eli forced a smile. Nothing, Mama. Just a busy day, he lied. But his red eyes betrayed him. Grace slowly turned her head and looked at him deeply. Did you ask for help? She whispered. He nodded. And? He looked away. His throat closed. They said no, he said. I am sorry, Mama. I am so sorry. Grace gently squeezed his hand. My son, she said softly. You don't have to beg for me. Tears spilled over. I will beg the whole world, if it means saving you, Eli said, voice breaking. But today, he insulted you. In front of everyone. He could not stop the tears now. He called you lazy. A liar. Like you were nothing, he cried. How can people forget so fast? You served them tea. You cleaned their bathrooms. You prayed for them every day. Why are poor people treated like dirt? Grace's eyes filled with tears too. She brushed his hair back with a shaking hand. My child, she whispered, our value is not in their eyes. It is in God's eyes. And in our own. At that moment, someone appeared at the door. It was Mia. She stood there, holding a small bag and her camera. She had been searching for Eli since evening. Eli, she said softly. Can I come in? He wiped his face quickly. Miss Mia, he asked, surprised. What are you doing here? I saw everything today, she said. I'm so sorry. She walked in and looked at Grace on the bed. So this is your mother, she said. Grace tried to sit up a little. I am sorry you had to see my son cry at work, she said quietly. He is a good boy. It is my illness that is heavy on him. Mia felt a lump in her throat. No, Auntie, she said. It is not your fault. It is his. She sat down on the chair. Auntie, she asked gently, did you work at Kane Industries before? Grace nodded. Yes, she said. Many years. When the company was small. When we only had 3 floors and 1 old lift. She smiled sadly. I have seen that boy grow, she said. Mia blinked. That boy, she repeated. You mean Mr. Kane? Grace's eyes went far away, into the past. We did not call him Mr. Kane then, she said. We called him Daniel. Sometimes, I even called him Beta, son. Eli looked at her, shocked. Mama, you never told me that, he said. Grace sighed. What was the use, she replied. He changed. Mia leaned forward. Auntie, please, tell me everything, she said softly. Grace took a breath. Years ago, Grace began, Daniel was not rich. He was just a thin boy, working in the warehouse, stacking boxes. His father had died. He used to sleep in the storeroom sometimes. She smiled a little. He had big dreams, she said. He always carried books. At lunch, while others joked, he studied. Mia listened, eyes wide. One rainy night, Grace continued, he came to my small room in the back. He was shivering. He had failed an exam because he could not pay the fees in time. He cried like a child and said his life was over. She looked down at her hands. I took off my only gold bangles, she said. My husband had given them to me before he died. I sold them the next day and paid his fees. I told him, study. Become big. Just don't forget where you came from. Her voice shook now. He fell at my feet and called me Mom, she whispered. He said, if I become a CEO one day, I will never let you work as a cleaner again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But when he became CEO, he changed his story. He told the world he was self-made, with no help. He removed all the old staff. And one day, he fired me too. He said I was too slow. Too old. The room was quiet. Even the hospital noise outside faded. Mia's heart pounded. So, she said slowly, the CEO who insulted you today, is the same boy whose life you saved. Grace nodded, wiping her tears. Mia's hands curled into fists. That's his secret, she thought. He pretends he climbed alone. But he stepped on the people who lifted him. She looked at Eli. Do you have any proof of this? She asked. Anything I can show? Eli opened his small bag. I only have this, he said, pulling out a folded paper and a photo. It was the same photo from the lobby. Grace and young Daniel outside the tea stall. On the back, in old ink, it said, To Mom Grace. When I become someone, I will make you proud. Daniel. Mia's eyes burned. And this? She asked, holding the paper. It's a copy of the school fee slip, Eli said. Paid by Grace. I found it in her trunk. On the corner, there was a shaky signature. Fee paid by G. Grace, cleaner, Kane Building. Mia knew what she had to do. The next day, the company had another live event. This time, it was bigger. A kindness and charity program, with board members present. They wanted to show how generous Kane Industries was. The lobby was full again. Lights. Banners. Cameras. Daniel stood on the stage in a fresh suit, smiling like yesterday didn't happen. Welcome, he said proudly. Today we announce our new charity wing. Because I know what it's like to struggle. I came from nothing. He placed his hand dramatically on his chest. I am proof, he said, that if you work hard alone, without help, you can reach the top. Upstairs at the control room, Mia stared at her screen. Her finger hovered over a different video file. The one she made last night. A slideshow of photos. The old fee slip. Grace's gentle voice telling the story, recorded on her camera. And the clip from yesterday, Daniel calling her lazy, useless, a liar. Her heart raced. If I play this, I might lose my job, she thought. But if I stay silent, I am like him. Have you ever seen someone behave like this in real life, and everyone stayed quiet? Would you stay quiet too? Mia whispered to herself. No, she said. Not today. She clicked play. Suddenly, the big screen behind Daniel changed. His company logo disappeared. Instead, a photo appeared. A small tea stall. A young boy with messy hair, holding a book. Standing next to a smiling cleaner woman. Daniel froze. He turned and stared at the screen. What is this? He said, his voice tight. The whole lobby went silent. Board members looked up. Employees frowned. The live chat blew up again. Who is that? Wait, is that Mr. Kane? Another image appeared. The old fee slip. The camera slowly zoomed in on the words. Fee paid by G. Grace, cleaner, Kane building. Whispers spread through the hall. Grace. Wasn't she the cleaner here? The boy looks like our CEO. Then, Grace's weak but clear voice played over the speakers. Mia had recorded her at the hospital. He was just a thin boy then, she said. I sold my bangles and paid his fees. He called me Mom. He promised he would never let me work as a cleaner again. The board members turned slowly to look at Daniel. His face turned pale. Someone in the crowd whispered loudly. He lied. He said he did it all alone. Then, on the screen, another video started. The clip from yesterday's live. Daniel's own voice echoed in the lobby. Your mother is just a poor cleaner. A liar. People like you should know your place. People gasped. More of his words played. If she's sick, that's her problem. Why should I use my company's money on some cleaner's mother? Now the crowd reacted. This is disgusting. Is this how he treats the person who helped him? I'm sending this to the news. Live viewers started sharing. Comments flooded in. #Justice for Grace. CEO exposed. This is Karma Live. On the stage, Daniel's hands shook. Stop this, he shouted. Turn it off. Who did this? But the damage was done. One of the board members, Mr. Carter, stepped forward. He was calm, but his eyes were hard. Daniel, he said into the mic, is this true? Daniel swallowed. I was young, he stammered. She was just a cleaner. I didn't. Did she pay your fees? Mr. Carter asked sharply. Did she help you when you were poor? Silence. Everyone watched. Daniel closed his eyes. Yes, he whispered. She did. Did you call her a liar and lazy in front of the whole world yesterday? Mr. Carter continued. Daniel's shoulders fell. Yes, he said. I did. Mr. Carter turned to the crowd. And did you all hear him say, just now, that he came from nothing and did it all alone? He asked. People nodded and murmured. Mia zoomed in on Daniel's face. Tears were in his eyes now. For the first time, he did not look like a powerful CEO. He looked like a scared, guilty man. Daniel Kane, Mr. Carter said loudly, your position is suspended. Effective immediately. The lobby shook with gasps. You will step down as CEO, Mr. Carter added. Until the board decides if you deserve to stay in this company at all. Daniel's legs felt weak. He tried to speak. I can explain. But his words died in his throat. This was his karma. The camera cut to the entrance. 2 guards were helping someone in a wheelchair. It was Grace. Thin. Weak. But with eyes full of quiet strength. Eli pushed her gently. Sophie had arranged an ambulance to bring her for this moment. The crowd parted as they moved forward. Even in her state, Grace looked a little embarrassed. I didn't want to make a scene, she whispered to Eli. I don't want revenge. Eli held her hand. This is not revenge, Mama, he said softly. This is truth. Daniel saw her and froze. Grace, he breathed. He walked down the stage, slowly. All cameras turned to him. When he reached her, his voice broke. Auntie. I mean. Mom Grace, he whispered. I'm so sorry. He suddenly dropped to his knees on the marble floor. In front of everyone. In front of the live camera. He cried like a child. I forgot where I came from, he sobbed. I forgot what you did for me. I was ashamed of my past, but I used you and then threw you away. And yesterday, I insulted you. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Grace's eyes filled with tears. She looked at this grown man kneeling in front of her, head bowed. I am not God to forgive everyone, she said quietly. But I am a mother. And a mother's heart cannot carry hate for long. She placed her trembling hand on his head. I forgive you, she whispered. But you must change. Not for me. For the people like Eli, who are still walking the same road you once walked. The whole lobby was silent. Some staff wiped their eyes. Even the guards looked moved. Mr. Carter stepped forward again. Grace, he said respectfully, on behalf of this company, I want to apologize to you and your son. He turned to Eli. You showed more loyalty than our CEO, he said. You came to work every day, even with your mother in the hospital. You still spoke with respect, even after being humiliated. He looked at the board. I propose, he said, that Kane Industries create a new scholarship and health fund in the name of Grace Foundation. To help workers' families. And as for Eli, he will not be an office boy anymore. Everyone turned to Eli. Eli stared, shocked. You will get a full education scholarship, Mr. Carter said. We will train you. You have your mother's heart. This company needs people like you in management, not just carrying tea. Eli's eyes flooded. Emmy. But sir. I am just. Not just anything, Sophie said, smiling through tears. You are the son of the woman who helped build this company's first CEO. The lobby filled with applause. Real applause this time. Not for Daniel. For Grace. For Eli. For truth. Daniel wiped his tears and stood up slowly. He looked at Eli. If you let me, he said, voice shaking, I will also contribute my personal money to your mother's treatment. Not as a CEO. As a boy whose life she once saved. Eli looked at his mother. Grace nodded slowly. Help others now, Daniel, she said. That is how you can truly say you changed. The live stream ended not with fake smiles, but with real tears. A powerful CEO fell to his knees. A poor cleaner rose in respect. An office boy became a future leader. All because the truth finally came to light, on live camera. Never forget the hands that lifted you when you were weak. Money can buy status, but only kindness earns true respect. Thinking.